Now, at least 11 people have been killed and 45 remain missing after torrents of rainfall and flooding battered southwestern Japan. Japan's meteorological agency issued special weather warnings across 4 prefectures in the west of Japan's main island of Honshu, dubbing the rains as historic. The weather situation shows no signs of improving. Landslides, rising rivers and strong winds hit parts of Japan, disrupting daily life. Roads were blocked and warnings have been issued to stay clear of landslides. Rescue efforts continue as military water trucks are rushing to areas where water systems are no longer working. Out of the 11 deaths, a man in Hiroshima died after falling off a bridge into a river. In Takashima City, a 77-year-old man was killed after being swept into a canal. Although Japan is among the most modernized of Asian nations, rural areas are hit hard by the rainy season each year, resulting in casualties and heavy damage.
お亡くなりになられた方々に心よりお悔やみを申し上げますとともに、被災されたすべての方々に御礼を申し上げます。
においては、今後も断続的に降り、過去の大雨を大きく上回る記録的な大雨になる恐れがあるということで。
The monsoon rains have come. More than 250 millimeters of rain fell in a 24-hour period, the highest recorded rainfall in one day for nearly 4 decades. Many motorists were left stranded as roads turned into rivers.
We have been on the road for 2 hours. It has taken us 2 hours to get here. Normally, it's a 5-minute drive.
Some are blaming authorities for the chaos, accusing them of failing to plan for wet weather conditions.
Every person is getting humiliated here on the roads. These politicians have no shame at all. They should compare this to the roads outside their own houses. They have built places for themselves. They live like mogul kings. There is a limit to injustice.
Whatever road you go on, it is filled with water. We are extremely distressed. Politicians claim to have turned Lahore into Paris. Show them this mess.
The rainfall has caused power cuts, plunging large parts of the city into darkness. Authorities say they are working on restoring power and fixing the city's draining system. But with more rain on the way, people are being warned to prepare for more disruption. Mari Beveridge, TRT World.
ما شاء الله تبارك الله. بلدية بني سعد. اليوم 16 شوال 1409. اللهم لك الحمد حتى ترضى.
Because what car are you in? You in a little car, ain't you? Yeah, you gotta walk. You can't drive down here, see?
Well, Ginger, good morning. That record rainfall causing problems here in Houston. And take a look at the Buffalo Bayou just behind me. You may be able to see that strong current still draining the water that paralyzed parts of this region. Overnight, extreme flash flooding stranding drivers and triggering rescues across Houston. Entire neighborhoods underwater. The rapid downpour sweeping through the city, at one point dropping as much as 4 inches every hour. Roads washed away, this sinkhole opening up, nearly swallowing a car. And just look at this highway, completely flooded.
There's flooding and there's at least 4,000 vehicles.
Reports of more than 120 drivers calling into Houston police because they were stranded in floodwater.
We were expecting 2 to 3 inches of rain for the entire day. Mother Nature had its own way of calling on us.
And when you say they responded very well, what does that mean?
It means that the storm lived longer and produced more rain over a larger area.
Jose Figueroa was driving home when he sprang into action, rescuing a family of 5 trapped inside their car.
Luckily, they could roll down their windows and get out. It was very scary, I have to admit.
The deluge dampening the holiday spirit. Houston's Freedom Over Texas concert canceled. And these giant letters seen here at the park once spelled out Houston, now a reminder of yet another holiday flood event.
Run of 2018.
O'Hara Township, we are completely flooded. Our cars are going into each other.
I'm Kristen Dahlgren. Residents on alert around Pittsburgh tonight with swift water teams on standby as flash flood watches are still in effect after parts of the city's roads turned into rushing rivers Thursday morning.
The water was so deep and the current was really, really fast.
More than 2 inches of rain fell in some places and more could be on the way.
It's going to be a mess. It's just like, when's it going to stop?
All roadways in the borough are shut down.
911 was inundated with calls from stranded drivers as the dangerous floods hit during the morning rush hour. Officials going door to door to evacuate homes in danger.
My adrenaline was rushing. Like, even my son said he was scared a little bit.
1, 2, 3.
Residents pitching in to help with cleanup.
I have water, I have food. You know, if they need something, I'm here.
As thousands remain without power tonight, facing sweltering temperatures and the threat of more storms on the way.
Check out this flooding in western Pennsylvania after storms moved through Allegheny County yesterday, causing a creek to rise above its banks. The muddy water rushed into the basements of homes and businesses. Firefighters pumped out the basements and hosed down the streets while everyone waited for the power to return. One business owner just couldn't get over how much water poured into his shop. Take a listen.
It's enormous power to pick up the equipment that I've had in here and push it all the way to the back of the shop and break through a wall. It was pretty aggressive.
At one point, the flooding was so severe that officials were forced to block off all entrances into the area. Crews worked to clear debris from storm drains to help get rid of the water.
Flooding also caused major problems in Ross Township. It closed parts of Babcock Boulevard. At one point, cars and trucks were driving through the high waters, but the flooding was so bad, part of Babcock near Evergreen Road buckled and is impassable. Julie Grant joins us live near the intersection of Babcock and Peoples Road. Julie.
Christine, good afternoon to you. Yes, the damage here is just incredible. Pieces of asphalt are everywhere, and this intersection is, of course, closed until the repairs are made. I want to show you just how badly the road is buckling here. Take a look at this. This is where Peoples Road would intersect and where you would head off over to Babcock Boulevard. Look how far it is separated from the sidewalk here.
We are following breaking weather tonight. Rain is causing mudslides and road closures. The hardest hit area is Belen. News 13's Chris McKee shows you the problems there, plus in Rio Rancho, where firefighters had to rescue a driver. Chris?
Jessica, the rain was too much for a levee in Belen. It was breached this evening, sending water gushing straight into homes.
I thought it was raining. Looked out the window, it wasn't raining, so I got up to look, and at that time I noticed water was rushing in through my back door.
Tonight, homes around the Mesa Road area in Belen are flooded. The Valencia County Fire Chief tells News 13 there was a break in the Highline Canal, sending water toward the low-lying areas of the village. Larry Marquez, who you heard from a little bit earlier, says more than 1.5 feet of water pushed into his backyard and then into his den.
And it sounded like a hurricane was going down the road, and all it was water barreling down the road.
In Rio Rancho, firefighters also had to rescue a driver you see here after they say they didn't realize the water was that deep.
Hello, this is Daisy Joy at Adventure Acres. The big headline that's going on right now in Iowa is all of the flash flooding that we are experiencing. We've had significant rainfall, and we're talking many inches at a time. We had, just here at the farm, we've had up to 5 inches within an hour's time, and it's really taking a toll on our area. Astounding as it is, over the weekend there were some areas closer to Des Moines that had up to 10 inches. In just a very, very short amount of time. It's just 10 inches in one day is a lot, but in a few hours time it's devastating. One person has lost their life, sadly. There's a lot of destruction, a lot of damage that's been going on here in our state and as a whole. We just keep getting really torrential rainfall all at once, and there's not really much we can do about that. So
all across our metro as we have been dealing with the flood headaches. We are joined now by City Councilwoman Connie Boesen. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
It's great to be here.
So you are new to the job, and now this is the first real issue that a natural disaster that our city has had to deal with. Talk to me about how cleanup efforts are going.
Well, I think that once we found out the severity, we changed some things. We have curbside drop-off, reacted to have more dump sites. We put some in a couple of the schools to get closer to the areas where they were impacted most. And I think what's we found is that many more people were impacted. The damage that was done, the water in the basements, and I've traveled throughout the areas and throughout the city talking to the residents, and it's given us a clearer picture of what, the impact of it and how they're all affected. And many people are impacted differently. There's the 4 Mile area where homes were totally washed, the basements caved in, and even on 57th Street, basements were caved in. And the power of the water and how fast it happened, I think, is what caught everybody off. It was within an hour, and the dangerous conditions.
There are some folks upset. They're upset with the city right now, saying more should have been done before the flood. I don't know how you can plan for 10 inches of water in 2 hours. It's pretty unprecedented. What would you like folks to know heading into Monday's City Council meeting, as there are going to be a lot of folks there at the 4:30 meeting? What would you like folks to, do you want them to show up at the meeting and bring concerns? What are you hoping for? Is this going to be a busy meeting?
I think that anybody's more than welcome to come to our meetings to bring their concerns. And that's why I've been trying to go out, and I think all of the City Council people have, to hear the concerns, see the issues. We were at 47th Street yesterday, and some of these issues have been ongoing. It was much more severe now. And we have plans in place. Unfortunately, they're just not getting fast enough. I'm on Cocoa Drive. They've had water before, not to the extent. And there are plans to get that whole storm sewer corrected. It's even wooden. I mean, it's things you learn.
Yeah.
And the devastation of replacing furnaces and air conditioners and water heaters and washers and dryers, I see that as one of the big things for many people. And we talked about, earlier you were talking about income. A lot of things are kicked in by income. So some of these people are in that mid-income tier, and they're finding that it's very difficult to get help, and where can they go to get help? So
lower 90s. Wednesday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 70s. Thursday, mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-90s. Thursday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 70s.
And tonight, heavy rain and fallen trees, the biggest concerns. Across the viewing area, dozens of reports of swollen creeks, flooded streets, and trees down on power lines. Right now, crews are spread out across the viewing area working to restore power.
NBC Charlotte's Savannah Levins live tonight with the latest. Savannah?
Fred, because that rain came down so hard and so quickly, we saw a lot of flooding this evening. Little Sugar Creek Greenway, for instance, the water was up past where I'm standing right now. You can tell just by how muddy the ground is and how these plants are pushed back here. This storm impacting so many people in our area.
Oh, God. I cut my porch light on. There is no power. Look at my house.
Lots of people coming home to this.
There is no power.
Tree after tree collapsing on power lines, roads, homes, vehicles.
I literally can't believe it missed the car.
Police scrambling to clear it all.
And I'm just blessed and thankful that it didn't hit my house, because it's right next to my house.
Yeah.
So thank God for that.
Please stay up, trees, and stay upright. I mean, don't fall on the house.
Meanwhile, floodwaters rushing onto roadways. Dozens of reports of cars stalling out. Even the South Park Mall garage started to flood. For first responders, clearing major roadways is priority one. But in more residential areas, folks like Mary Berryhill,
yeah, no air conditioner, no nothing,
will have to hold out.
And I have a little pet dog. I know he's hot.
So you guys can see just how saturated the ground still is. Just because the rain has passed for the most part right now, we're still going to have a concern of falling trees. I've been monitoring scanners. We're still, even right now, getting reports of trees down over roadways. So definitely something to be aware of. It's going to be an issue overnight, guys. Reporting live, Savannah Levins, NBC Charlotte.
Deputies in southwestern Minnesota
are evacuating residents because of rapidly rising water levels on the Cottonwood River. The river approached record level yesterday afternoon. The American Red Cross is helping displaced residents while others are still dealing with no power.
The majority of the people never went through that situation before.
As the Cottonwood crept closer, Doug Merritt's helped evacuate people and their pets from River Bluff Apartments. And as a lifelong resident, he's no stranger to the process.
83 was a big one, 93 was a big one, 2001 was a big one, 2010 was another big one. I consider them all big with 80 damages.
We never got this much water. It was up here, but not way into here.
Susan Rogotsky has seen the Cottonwood flood before too, though not like this.
We were looking out the window and all of a sudden it looked like somebody just took a big bucket of water and dumped it on us.
Susan's home is one of 12 without power, but she says it's minor compared to the damage the floodwaters will leave behind.